Hello. So, it's been a little while later, and I have leveled a few levels, leveled up a little bit, and have worked out my rotation and feel like I'm at a point where now I'm just pretty much going to be figuring out kind of the passives and just where to spend the talent points. I think I pretty well got everything else figured out. So I've got Pact of Gluttony, which is the improved Hearthstone for Warlocks only. If you use the Create Hearthstone ability, and I think the last like major ability which might be worth mentioning, is this choice you get between Grimoire, Fail Reaver, and Grimoire Implored. So they do different things, and it's not exactly clear what it is they do. So before I go over the rotation and the abilities, I just was able to pick one of these. So I went with Grimoire Fell Reaver because it heals. It doesn't mention that, but both of these have an effect where their abilities will turn into another ability. So that seems to be a thing in Midnight now. Um, so Fell Reaver will purge one. It's basically a dispels an enrage effect, basically. But if it does, it will heal you. Implored is a bit confusing because it says that it will work as a kind of a dispel on a target, but then if it dispels, it will remove something from a friendly target. So it's weirdly worded. Tried it, didn't particularly care for it. Fail River seems to work better. So, um, yeah, so that's kind of my little short-term cooldown that I've been using. And as I said, I'm from what I'm seeing, I think it's just going to be kind of figuring out like some fine tuning the passives, deciding if I want to take like Dark Pack, Mortal Coil, things like that. So not necessarily major things to cover, just kind of things that are subject to choice, I would say. So as far as the rotation, I've moved some things around. So it revolves around two different things. Summoning demons, obviously, as a since this is demonology, but also summoning imps in order to use implosion, which you have to do with Hand of Gul'dan. So this is going to be kind of your main ability you want to use. So the rotation I've been using is I will use Call Dreadstalkers first, because that'll summon two demons, start combat, start my Felguard in combat, and then I will use Shadow Bolt as a Soul Shard generator and a pretty much like a spammable ability when I don't know what else to use. I've been using Demon Bolt when it procs, and kind of only when it procs. That's why it's off to the side. Otherwise, it has a fairly large cooldown. So, yeah, so you take it, and then which one? Let me see here. So, Grants access to the following ability. When your wild imps fade or are imploded, you have a 10% chance to absorb their life essence. Oh, there we go. So, Demon Core reduces cast time of Demon Bolt by 100%, maximum of 4 stacks. So, there you go. So, you get this fairly early on. Granting you, yeah, so your wild imps fade or are imploded, otherwise fade or destroyed, basically. You have a 10% chance to grant an absorb. Chance to absorb their life essence, granting you a stack of demon core. When your summoned demons fade away, you have a 100% chance to absorb the life essence, granting you. Yeah, so basically, when anything happens to one of your when anything happens to any of your other demons, it makes Demon Bolt free, basically. So that seems to be the better way to use it. Otherwise, it's a 4-second cast time, and it just kind of messes up your rotation. So, as I said, Shadow Bolt to generate soul shards, kind of a filler ability. Then I'll generally move on to Hand of Gul'dan. Implosion will stack up to, I think it's, well, it says forces stack a 6. So then just kind of basically running through that rotation. So Call Dreadstalkers, Shadow Bolt for Soul Shard because you need Soul Shards for Hand of Gul'dan. You only need Imps for Implosion. So it's kind of their own currency there. And then just kind of running through that rotation. Just a lot of Shadow Bolt and then Hand of Gul'dan and then just using Implosion when I can. Kind of working in everything else. So I'll use Demon Bolt when it procs, Implosion when I have enough, occasionally Drain Life. Don't really use Drain Life all that often, but every once in a while it's helpful not to break combat. So this will do damage and heal. So even with Hearthstones. And then occasionally working Curse of Weakness, not exactly sure how much this is doing, so I'm not going to say you have to use this. It's better than the other two, I feel like, which is Curse of Exhaustion. Reduces target's movement speed, which could be good in PvP, not so much in PvE. And then Curse of Tongues forces a target to speak in demonic, causing the cast time of spells by 30%. So I'm not entirely sure. So Curse of Tongues is spells, and Curse of Weakness is attacks. So I'm not sure if attacks include, if it's just like melee attacks, physical attacks, or if it's just attacks in general. So it seems like the better of the three to use for the moment. And there is a talent where you can, let me see here, there we go, Blight of Weakness. So it kind of makes it a AoE ability. Yeah, so Curse of Weakness itself just affects one target. Blight of Weakness affects all enemies within 10 yards. So, yeah. So it seems like it's giving you a choice between spells or physical attacks. And since I'm a clothy, I think physical attacks is probably better. I don't know. There's some other things I kind of have to fine tune and see exactly what is going to be best to use. So, and then of course have summon Demonic Tyrant, which I don't really use all that often. So, as I said, So I have my Felguard. So Dreadstalkers. Now you will be able to use Hand of Gul'dan just once by itself, but I like to use my Shadow Bolt just for the rotation. Yeah, and then you see there's... And you'll get a couple uses out of that. And then Hand of Gul'dan again. Yeah, so then we're up to 6. There we go. So... yeah, you see how it works. So, Dreadstalkers to get your demons out, start combat, get your Felguard in, started with combat. Shadow Bolt to keep your Soul Shards up, occasionally using Demon Bolt when it procs, Hand of Gul'dan. Then, of course, the abilities change once in a while. Yeah, so I did want to look and see. So for Shadow Bolt, I was noticing. Did I misspell something? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Infernal Bolt. So it transforms your Shadow Bolt into an ability that does more damage and generates 3 Soul Shards. Hand of Gul'dan also has an ability. There we go. Call down a demon-infused meteor from the depths of the Twisting Nether, dealing chaos damage on impact to all enemies within 8 yards of the target, summoning 3 wild imps. So that does quite a bit of damage. Been quite happy with that. So yeah, pretty much just running between Deathstalkers, Shadow Bolt, and Hand of Gul'dan, and then just working in other things when appropriate. So Demon Bolt when it procs, Implosion when you have ideally 6. Like I said, it seemed like it went higher than 6 on one occasion when I was doing something. I could be mistaken, but usually 6 is when I'll try to use it. And then just kind of using, Hand of Gul'dan and Shadow Bolt when they transform. And then, as I said, I've got Grimoire Fail Reaver, which I'll use with Unending Resolve if I need some cooldowns. Don't really use Summon Demonic Tyrant all that much. Don't really need it all that much. I haven't really been struggling with anything. I've been flying around doing world quests, and once in a while, if I see a rare, I'll stop and kill them just to see what they'll drop. And haven't had any issues at all, especially being able to generate Hearthstones. And that was before I went with the Pact of Gluttony Hearthstones. So just your regular ones will work just as well. Hello. So I have decided in my quest to settle on a DPS spec 2 level that I'm leaning, at least at this particular moment, towards my Warlock. In the past, when I have done something with my Warlock, I have enjoyed that quite a bit, so I'm leaning, again, more and more towards leveling her. I'm just not 100% sure on which spec. So I'm going to start by setting up Demonology, and this is what Demonology looked like when I switched over from Destruction. Is that what the... yeah, I had Destruction. Normally play Affliction if I do PvP, because you just dot everyone to death. And I don't remember, I remember playing Demonology at some point, leveling or something, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, and then for some reason I switched, I think, to Affliction. I think that's when I started doing PvP on Warlock. I switched over to Affliction, and then I refused to play Destruction until I got the Green Fire quest done and was able to do that. So then, by that point, I think I had moved on and was playing, doing things on other characters. I don't remember really doing much on Destruction, but yeah. So I'm going to start with Demonology and then maybe switch over to Destruction if that's not all that great. So yeah. So this is where we are, and then I am in Dalaran, the Northrend Dalaran, because Catherine Lee here gives a quest, if you didn't know, for a housing decor item. So, yeah, it is actually your... I will show you. It is your... Where is it here? It's a cheese platter thing. Oh, there you go. Eversong Party Platter. So, yeah. Came here on a few characters to get... well, let's see. There you go. I have 4 of these. So, yeah. So there you go. There's a little extra bonus fact for you. So, everything has been reset for the most part. Yeah, so I guess we could just go ahead and reset everything. There we go. So it's all even. And just to clarify, that is what my spellbook looks like. So, yeah, one thing. The mastery increases damage done by your demons. That is it. And then a bunch of Warlock abilities, and then there's the codex for the green fire, which is kind of pointless outside of destruction. So, I digress. Starting with the Demonology, so Hand of Gul'dan, which replaces Corruption, and then Call Dreadstalkers. That's what I remember was one of the fun things when I played this before. Now this I wasn't understanding when I was kind of skimming through the talents. So grant access to the following abilities. Demon Bolt. Okay, so that does Shadow Flame damage. And then Demonic Core reduces the cast time of... Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Increases the damage dealt by Hand of Gul'dan. So this is your AoE, for those that don't know. Demonology works really weird now. They reworked it a while back. So it's surround it has to do, a lot of the concept is surrounded around summoning demons and imps. They're the Demonology suspect, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that has all the million imps that follow the Warlock around. But then some of the abilities work, kind of have their own thing with the way they work, so they don't really synergize, but they kind of do, because they all do kind of their own thing. So yeah, if it's still set up the same, if it still sets up the same way as it is what I remember. So increase damage dealt. Yeah, because that doesn't do a lot of damage. Increase your intellect. Increase your mastery. When your Dread stalkers charge into battle. Their dread bite attack now hits all targets within. Yes, that's fine. And then we can get our Felguard. Critical increases the critical strike chance of your wild imps. Fire bolts. Sure. I guess sure. And then implosion. Demonic forces suck 6 of your imps towards the target. And then cause them to violently explode, dealing shadow flame damage to all enemies within. Okay. Power siphon. Instantly sacrifice 2 imps, granting 2 charges of demonic core. That cause Demon Bolt to deal 30% additional damage. Ooh. So one does AoE and one does single target damage. I think I want... I think I want Implosion. Yeah. I think I want Implosion. I think that works. If not, I can switch back. I'm going to set everything up and kind of do like a test run. So, when your wild imps cast Fire Bolt, you have a 10% chance to instantly cast another at 200 effectiveness. Reduces the cast time of Shadow Bolt and increases damage by 15%. Okay. So Shadow Bolt is the Warlock equivalent of Frost Bolt. So it's kind of a slower ability that just does kind of a constant, not a terrible amount of damage, but not an excessive amount. It just doesn't slow like Frost Bolt does. It doesn't have any type of additional utility such as that. So your Dreadstalker's attacks have a 10% chance to trigger an additional. Okay, the cooldown of your Felguard's Veilstorm is reduced by 10 seconds, and damage dealt to your primary. Felguard's Veilstorm, okay, so that's like Blade Storm, is reduced, and damage dealt to your primary demon is. Okay, I'll take it, but I'm not entirely sure. It's worded weird at the end, so I think I know what it's going to do, but we will see. So looks like the right side is mostly turning out to be your demon and kind of pets, and then the left side is more your abilities from what I'm gathering here, which is fine. That makes sense. So I do remember taking the Tyrant. Yeah. I do remember taking the Tyrant. Now hits all targets. Okay, so trigger an additional. Sure, that could be good. Gotta remember that Warlock is a cloth a clothy type class, so you're gonna need to burn enemies down as quickly as possible. Okay, so increases damage and its duration. Sure. Increases the critical strike chance of your primary 50% of your. Okay. increases attack speed of your dead stalkers by 10% and their critical strike chance by 15. Damaging critical strikes dealt to you and your demons damage instead of the usual. Okay, sure. So increase critical strike chance of wait. Your damaging critical strikes dealt by you and your demons deal 230 and instead of hold on a minute. The fangs of your red stalkers are coated in corrosive bites, causing to deal 50% additional damage. Oh, nice! I like that. I like that little flavor text. Your demonic tyrant is equipped with armor forged within Taurus, increasing their armor by 10% while summoned. Now assaults enemies with powerful melee attacks. Cleaves all enemies in a cone in front of the caster. Sure. Seems interesting. Increases the attack speed of your and their critical strike chance. Yeah. Okay, I'm liking the demon abilities more than the others, it seems. So, also empowers you while active, increasing your haste by 8%. Oh, nice! I like that. Shadow Bolt, Demon Bolt, deal 2% additional damage. Summoned. Your demonic tyrant lasts an additional 5 seconds and extends the duration of your Dreadstalkers by 15 seconds while summoned. Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah, these little guys do a lot. Like I said, I remember this from when I had it set up before, and they do a lot. Oh. So increases mastery by 3% and reduces the cast time of your summoned demon, demonic tyrant, and summon Felguard. Wait, does Felguard? I assumed Felguard stayed out. This was like a regular pet. This wasn't a limited duration demon. I assumed. I could be wrong. Increases mastery by 3% and reduces the cast time of... Oh, reduces the cast time. Helps if you can read. Gotcha. Do I have... Yeah, so I've got... Yeah, so I get one free summon every 3 minutes. So yeah, that's fine. Do I need this? I don't think so. Cost 1 less soul shard. Its cast time is reduced by 50, by 100. There we go. So now that's instant. Also summons to assist in combat for 15 seconds. Sure. Your summoned Veil Fiend becomes summoned Gloomhound and learns the following ability: Tooth and Claw. Are drenched in shadow magic, causing the melee attacks to... Okay. Becomes summoned... cloaked in the ever-burning flames, dealing damage to all enemies. Okay, I don't particularly care for either one of those. Summons an Implorer to assist you in combat for 20 seconds and will remove one harmful effect from you when summoned. Transforms into siege magic while on cooldown. Oh, these are your grimoires now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Um, Summons a failed Ravager to assist you in combat. Will purge one benefit. Okay, from the enemy. Okay. I don't think I need either one of those. So your demons deal 1% increased damage for each demon you control. Sure, as I said, there's going to be a ton of imps, so. Power Siphon and Implosion summon one imp gang boss for every 2 wild imps sacrificed. Wild imps summoned this way gain Unstable Soul, increases damage dealt, and now jumps to 4 additional targets. Sure. Doomguard I don't think I need. They will have a 100% chance. Okay, so when your wild imps cast Fail Firebolt, they have a 100% chance to instantly cast another Fail Firebolt at 200% effectiveness. Damage increase, that's fine. Increases Demon Bolt damage by 10. Consuming Demon Core has a chance to summon a wild imp. Has an 8% chance to grant a charge of Demon Core. Okay. Additional damage. Okay. Charge of Demon Core, so yeah. Okay. And now for the Warlock Talents. I want Fail Devastation, that's fine. Reduces cooldown, that's fine. Stamina increased by 10, that's very nice. Burning Rush, yes. So we get Soul Leech by default, which is nice, because this grants you a shield. And up to 15% of your maximum health. And this should be, I was going to say, Demon Skin. Yeah, so your Soul Leech absorption now passively recharges at a rate. And may now absorb up to, yes. Okay, increases your armor by 90%. Absorbs damage. Reduces damage taken. That's fine. Reduces the damage dealt by Burning Rush. Burning Rush increases your frequency by an additional 20%. Very nice. Increases you and your pet's maximum health. Increases the amount of damage required to break your fear. Your fear causes the target to tremble in place instead of fleeing in fear. No, I like the not being able to break it. Reduces movement speed. Is that helpful? What is this? Forces target demonic language, increasing the cast time of all spells. I think that's probably going to be more beneficial. Healing done by Drain Life. Yeah, also use your primary demon. Mortal Coil. Yeah, don't think I need Mortal Coil. Never cared for this when it was a talent in the old talent trees that we had. The middle ones, as I think of them. We had talent trees, then we had the rows, and then we have talent trees again, so. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and take both of those. That's fine. And then Demonic Circle. That's fine. Increases your haste. That's fine. Increases your critical strike chance. That's fine. Dark Pack I don't need. I don't think. Not usually. Casting Curse of Exhaustion, Curse of Tongues, or Curse of Weakness now. Curses all enemies within 10 yards of the target. Okay. Hearthstones heal you for an additional 5% health. Do I have a chance to... No. I don't have the special... Demonology doesn't have the special Hearthstone that heals you for more. I'm taking it then. Reduces all damage. Yeah. Soul Leech may now absorb an additional 5% of your maximum health. That's fine. That is a lot. Drain life now. Channels 100% faster and restores 100% more health. Sure. I'll take that and play around with it. Why not? Additional 200 and grant soul each equals 10% damage dealt. Reduces the chance you will be critically struck by 2%. All damage your primary demon does takes reduced by 8. Increases leech. Increases intellect. Reduces the chance you'll be critically struck. All damage your primary target. Primary demon takes is reduced by 8. Sure. Demonic Gateway. Let loose a roar, causing 5 enemies within 10 yards to flee in fear. Disorienting. And for 20 seconds, damage may cancel this effect. Stuns all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds. That's 40 seconds. I think that might actually be better. Unyielding Resolve reduces damage taken by an additional 15. Reduces the cooldown by 45 seconds. What is it now? 3. Yeah, I think the reduced cooldown is probably going to be better. Reduces the cast time. Soulstone and create Hearthstone by 50%. 5% of all damage you take is taken by your pet instead. Reduces the cast time and can now twice before triggering a cooldown. That I like. Soul Burn. I don't think I need. Your leech also heals 8%. Your pet 20. Wait. Soul Leech also heals you for 8% and your pet for 25 of the absorption. Okay. So that's probably good. Reduces the cast time of Shadow Fury by 15 and increases its radius by 2. Reduces the cast time of Halter by 5 and it now fears 5 additional enemies. Blight of Weakness, call forth a cloud. Shadow Mist, okay, and increases trained attacks by 100 and reducing their critical strike chance by 10% for 12 seconds. All enemies increasing their cast Wait. Oh, I see. So attacks and spells. Gotcha. Take 5% of all damage you take is taken by your pet instead. Kind of like that. Yeah. Okay. So now to pick a hero talent. The defeat of the Legion left many powerful demons unbound. The Diablos command greater demons once thought to be uncontrollable and wield abyssal power from the twisting nether on the battlefield. Soul Harvester. Few grasp the power hidden within souls, but may know the hunger demons share for spirits of the fallen. Soul Harvesters enter pacts with demons from the twisting nether, serving as their host and feeding them the souls of their foes in exchange for incredible power. Okay, so usually what I do is kind of look and see. So that's a passive, that's a passive, that's a passive, and that's passive. So the end result will be starting. So everything usually starts with the first one, the first talent with the hero talent. So that usually gives you some idea of whether you want to take it or not. So spending a soul shard on a damaging spell grants diabolic ritual. While active, each soul shard spent on a damaging spell reduces its duration by 1, expires, you demonic art, causing your next hand to cool on to summon Overlord, Mother of Chaos, or Pit Lord that unleashes a devastating attack on your enemies. Okay. And then summoning a Pit Lord causes your next hand to cool on to become... Okay. The target and summoning 3 wild imps. Okay. A demonic entity now inhabits your soul, allowing you to detect if a soul shard has a succubus soul when it's... Okay, consuming a succubus soul unleashes your demonic soul, dealing damage to all enemies within... Okay, damage... Okay. Your summoned demonic spell is empowered by the... causing it to grant 3... Okay, so... I'm kind of curious to see this one, honestly. So... Enemies damaged by your overlord have their souls increasing damage. Okay. Increases damage of your next health go down and reduces its cast time. Okay. Powers your next. Okay. Vulnerable to the infernal flames of the abyss, dealing fire damage to your enemy target and granting 3 soul. Okay. Up to 3 each time the duration is reduced by 1 to your spells. Explode when consumed, dealing fire damage to all enemies. Okay. so I think we'll do that. Summon grants ritual, reducing duration. While you're is active, decreases the duration. Okay. It's a bit weird. Damage by your overlord. Have their souls. Okay, increasing damage taken by you. Wait. Increasing damage taken by you and your pets by... Okay, enemies damaged by your overlord have their souls cloven. Increasing damage taken... Oh, okay. And your pet's damage... Okay, gotcha. Always gain the benefit of sunburn when casting demonic circle, teleport, increasing your movement speed and making you immune to snare. Okay. That's fine. Fire damage increased by 4, and damage dealt by your demons by... Okay. 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 Grant reducing duration. Summon Demonic Tyrant grants Demon Ritual and reduces its cooldown. What is Demon Ritual? Okay, so it's that. Okay. Grants Demonic and reduces the... Okay. Unresisting. Okay, heals you at maximum health over 10 seconds. Grants soul leech equal to 10% of your maximum health and increases maximum absorb. Okay, so grants soul leech equal to 10% of your maximum health and increases maximum soul leech can absorb by 10. Heals you for 30 of your health over 10 seconds. So I think that's probably going to be better. Deals 15% increased damage. You summon demonic up to 3. Each time the duration is reduced by 1 of your spells. Spending a soul shard on damaging spells while you decreases the duration by 1. Okay, I guess I'll just try that, and then Glaze is your primary target. Fire a beam of destructive chaos, dealing... Okay. Okay, well there we go.